Hey boys, we are taking the Corrado out today. If you forgot, did some stuff to it. Let's check it out. Okay, so we're at the shop. Here we are, exciting. I'm always excited about Corrado videos. I don't know why, I really like making them. We did some motor work to the Corrado. Sorry about the lighting, looks like garbage. We'll come back further in here. I'm just staring at the Corrado at the moment. So I started stage one. We got part of the build done. We went fully built Bill Schimmel head. It's got titanium retainers, rev high springs, and 1 millimeter over for our valves. So a little overkill for just an all motor build, but might as well do it while it's out. I wanted to put a metal head gasket on, and a lot of times when you have these old cars that have been sitting around with the stock head gaskets on there, they tend to rot the head. It's a Vr6 issue that's pretty well known. So I got a decked head, cleaned up, fully just refreshed in general. I did go with, I don't know if I said 268 Dougherty racing cams, and that's pretty much stage one of the build. Car runs good, strong, revs really nice. Once you hit that 4,000 RPMs, you really feel it opening up, but just in general, it just doesn't feel as like choked up, which is cool. And that kind of takes you to stage two on the next stuff that we're gonna be doing. And stage two is pretty simple. We're gonna be doing here we go. A stage one South Bend clutch. Now you can get a stage two that is very streetable. I may have kind of dropped the ball on that one. This should be plenty. The stock clutch is even fine. Grabs really hard as is. I'm just doing this while it's out, while we're ripping everything apart. Might as well, right? Then we're doing the LSD. I forget the name of that. Maybe it's even on here. Who the heck knows? I'm sure it is. It is a Wave Track LSD. There you go. So that's going in. We got that 2.9 liter intake manifold. It is a real one. It is not a clone. We have a 2.9 throttle body, and then we have a lightweight Autotech flywheel. Well, that's not it. We also have the holy grail of intakes. The only one that is proven. It is a turn 2 cold air intake. That I was completely surprised that I found one. I found one up in Connecticut. Shout out to the kid who sold it to me. Yeah, I'm excited. This whole next thing I think is going to take the car to the next level of performance just with the all motor setup. And then the last piece is that I reached out to Tectonics. They are going to be getting me a chip that is set up for the cams, and we're going to stick with that for now. If I decide to go ECU masters or update the ECU in the car, which is a possibility, I just don't know if it's worth it on an all motor build. It would only be worth it because you're updating technology. So I don't think it's really a performance thing. It would be more along the lines of updating reliability, so on and so forth. But with that being said, the goal was 200 wheel horsepower. I think we should be able to get there. It was dyno tuned at 165. It was on a dyno jet. I know that it is very forgiving and gives a high number. But even with that being said, even if it was like 145, 150, and you know, I can get up to the 190-ish mark on a Mustang dyno, we're gonna go back on the same dyno. I wanna see apples for apples just to see the difference. The increase is gonna be the increase regardless of what kind of dyno it is on. Obviously, weather permitting, can change that as well. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's go for a ride in it. All right, here's the old girl. We take her out for a little rip. Love this thing. Old junk. Key. There we go. Takes a little bit with this old thing. All right. Electric seat belts, right? Let's go. All right, won't get too crazy. Already got pulled over once today with this thing because the registration is expired. I completely forgot. It's the only problem with having multiple cars. It's easy to forget. All right, ready? Get a little warm before we just start ripping on it. Pretty much just shut it off. So the biggest noticeable difference is, a lot of people ask, does the 268 gears, do you lose some low-end torque, horsepower? What is the difference? I think on a car like this where it's naturally aspirated, it's all motor, you don't have to worry about a loss like that as much, because it just sounds so good. Sorry, I got distracted there. Because you're not making a ton to begin with. So I think this car made right around the same torque as it did horsepower, which is always a good thing. It's a rare occasion that happens, especially on all motor cars. No offense, Honda boys, that's usually the case. They're usually low torque, high horsepower. The nice thing about the VR6 is you don't have to worry about that. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear that. You do have a pretty significant idle dip, and that's probably just because of the cams. Could be because of everything, the head and everything. I forgot to mention, we also are running a TT, or Tektonics downpipe, with a Tektonics exhaust. It does have a cat on it currently. That's gonna go, we're gonna keep the cat on. All right, saved you from having to deal with listening to that honking and sitting at a light, but all right. Just such a nice sounding car, period. Can you beat the sound of a VR6? I don't think so. I always said that with the R32s, and then I got the Corrado. And the R32 obviously sounds unbelievable, but the VR6 just in general just has such a great sound to it. We are, let's just go around this guy. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but once you get to 4th gear, it just starts jamming. It really likes being up in the high RPMs now with those cams. And the valves just in general, it's breathing so much better. Sorry about the whistle. My window is not sealing all that great right now. Get that squared away too. The one thing that I can say that I am looking forward to is the lightweight flywheel and the intake side of everything too, just because I think that my whole goal here with this versus a stock VR6, and I don't know if any of you guys experience it, it just seems like it's chugging, especially at the bottom end of the revs. I wanted to get up there. I want to be able to, I really want the car to scream. That's my biggest goal. I wanted to get up into the RPMs quickly, and that's where that lightweight flywheel comes into play. Having that difference of you know, where it's, once it's up in 4K range and you can get to that 4,000 RPM range quicker, it's just gonna make the car's response and feel that much better. But honestly, this thing is just, it's so strong now. Over 4,000 RPMs, this thing is just too good. You can still feel that there's a lot of weight on the motor, and that's why, like what I was just talking about, was the flywheel. You want to get that lightened up just so we can just get up to the RPMs faster. But sound-wise, I'm very excited to start having some intake noises, because right now we are running a stock airbox on this car. And just overall to have more air going into the motor with those cams is only going to benefit it all together. I'm pretty excited to see what the difference is going to be. But this car finally feels like it can keep up with certain more modern cars. At one point I took this car on full foliage, completely stock, and I just felt so bad for the car because I was beating the ever-living hell out of it to get it to keep up with some of these. It wasn't even close. I mean, I'm talking about TTRSs, Audi RS7s, GTIs with tunes, and you know, just modern cars that have a lot more power than this thing does. But I'll tell you what, now it just feels like it would be able to keep up a little bit better. And on top of that, I think that now it would just really make a difference on the twisties, because that's really why I built this car. All right, we're back, and that's pretty much it. I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait for the next stage. And when we do, we're gonna do another dyno day to see the difference, and then that way you guys can get an idea. I'm actually, if I can get a dyno open, it's not gonna be the same dyno, but I'd love to see the difference even right now. That way, anybody that has questions like, you know, what can I do at an affordable price? And I like to be upfront with everybody. You know, I have a great mechanic, Malcolm, at B&M Auto Works, and you know, he did it for a relatively good price. If you are mechanically inclined, you could save yourself a ton of money. All said and done, to have a head put on, the cams. Now, we did a lot of maintenance stuff too. We did the timing chains, we did the gaskets, we did the crack pipe, we did, what else was done to it? Guides for the head. So there was and some amongst other things that were done. It was approximately, all said and done, to put a head on, to buy the head, cams, and have all that work done, you're looking at somewhere around $4 grand. Now, it doesn't sound cheap, it's not, but now, can you take the head off, put a spacer on, get a turbo kit for $4 grand? I know where you guys can get one. Yes, you absolutely can. You can make a lot more power. But I wanted to do all the maintenance stuff and all that. My biggest thing with cars is keep them on the road, keep them reliable, and keep them well maintained. So if you want to do that, let me know. I can go over the cost and everything like that. And let's see if we can get a dyno day going with the car in its current stage versus once we put the intake manifold, intake, clutch and flywheel on and all that good stuff, and throttle body. So if we could do that, we will. Other than that, thank you guys. I appreciate it. You know the deal. Like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.